It's the winter solstice! The shortest day of the year is here. It's also officially winter. But winter is actually a time of beautiful blue skies and garden growth. So if you're feeling the winter blues, don't despair. Actually, January, February and March are fantastic months of the year. So I always thought I hated winter, and it wasn't until I actually did this 4 seasons of farming that I realised that with winter starting on December 21st, actually it's November and December, so it's the end of autumn I hate, because as soon as you get into January, things actually start to grow, and if you're on a farm with livestock, there's also the excitement around the corner of spring babies. So I wanted to show you around a few of the little sparks of life that are happening here on the farm, both for myself and for you, to show that we may literally be at the very beginning of winter, but it's actually a fantastic time of year with lots going on. So first things first, in the Northern Hemisphere, we are now had the shortest day. So the hours of daylight are going to start increasing, which means mud starts to dry up because the sun's out for longer, and plants start to grow. So here in the Polytunnel, we've had a few issues with our lettuces, and I'll link the video to that up there. But it's fairly warm in here today, even though it's literally 1 degree centigrade outside, it's fairly warm. And now we're getting these longer hours of daylight. All of these lettuces are going to start growing. We've got the new little seedlings that we put in only a week or so ago, and they've been a little bit nibbled. But these older ones, which were just leaves, the crowns, have suddenly started to grow, and that's only going to continue now as the day length gets longer, which means we can have fresh salads, we can have salads for the farm gate and for the early spring markets ready to go. I've also done a little bit of an experimentation with some radishes, and you can see these radishes are also starting to leaf up in the warmth. And now the longer hours of daylight means that actually we should start to produce some very early season radishes too. Now, funnily enough, I, like perhaps many of you, might be thinking, in the middle of December, almost January, what on earth can be growing in the garden at this time of year? But I'm actually quite shocked. Firstly, I'm shocked at this. It's almost the end of December, and I still have snapdragons. Like, what on earth? They have been heavily frosted, but I don't have the heart to pull them out because they are trying to keep going. I obviously am going to plant new snapdragons come spring, but for now, these plants can just sit here and I'm going to see what happens with them. Next to them, I have a long bed of wallflowers. Now, these are fantastic early spring plants. I sowed them in the fall. They've already grown to a decent size, and now with this extended hours of daylight, they will begin to grow and give me lots of early flowers. And then over in the market garden, we still have kale, we still have chard, and very excitingly, again, middle of winter, what would be growing, but it does, we have garlic and onions starting to come up. I put in these garlic earlier in the year, and we've got 2 beds. We've got one long bed here, and the sticks were to stop stuff coming and digging them up, but they are all starting to sprout. And then next door we have some more garlic, and then we have the beginning of our onion beds. So some of these onions have been nibbled, and some, like this, have been pulled out and frosted, so let's pop that little baby back in. But again here, we have a little green nubbin, another green nubbin, green tip. So again, it's cold, it's dark really early, but there's signs of life, which, oh, there's a little robin just flew over there. There's signs of life. To me, is a big, big thing as we get into January. There is also some really good signs of life on my spring flowering ranunculus. So they were under a cold frame outside, but Mr. and Mrs. Mousey found them. And so now I have brought the trays into the shed. But you can see lots of little shoots, which is super exciting. I also have some more over here that are coming up. My anemones, however, got really, really moused. The mice like to dig them up and chew on them. So I've stacked, oh look. Look though, look. Life. So I've stacked them until they start to really leaf, and then I've got this grill that I've put over the rest of the anemones, which are in there. And it's not just the garden that's growing. It has been incredibly mild for November, but I was planting some bulbs along this section, and this is a section of the pheasantry where I plant in gifted bulbs. A lot of the bulbs I buy are for the cut flower garden, but bulbs I'm gifted by friends and families and you guys, I like to plant in this patch so we get to enjoy them over the coming years. And I was planting more bulbs the other day, and look! The start of next year's daffodils. And then while most of the trees are completely dormant now, look at this little elderflower. It's got buds on it. Now it's not going to burst into leaf anytime soon, but it is also thinking about spring, and you can see lots of little buds. This is a dark variety, Sambuca nigris. It's fantastic, and it's another little sign that spring is a-coming. Here, Eve is obviously super confused about the time of year as well, because she laid an egg the other day. The chickens are in lockdown still because of avian flu, but these lengthening days will now start them to lay eggs, which again is great for the business because we can start to sell, but also we can start to hatch. And the sheep! Now, although we're not due lambs until March, there's still 3 months. This is the kind of exciting time of year when you're looking at your sheep, you're watching them as they get larger, as they start to develop udders. We did do a sheep scanning video. I will link that up there so you can see the scanning process. But of course, I'm not telling you how many we got because come March, we're going to have a little competition with some prizes to see the number of lambs we'll have, the first who will lamb, and the time of the first lamb. But it's nice, and the longer daylight hours will also mean that the grass will start to grow, they'll start to get more nutrition from the grass, and hopefully we can see all of our ladies start to swell. And lambing is going to be a little bit different this year. Last year we only had the one ewe, and she lambed outside. This year I'm going to move all the ewes into the barn, so they're going to be nice and cozy. We're going to set up a lamb cam. I'm going to see if I can potentially stream it. So we'll be doing it all inside, and obviously there'll be more ewes lambing, so more babies, which is very exciting. So as I say, I think I've pretty much figured out that it's November and December that I hate, and actually as soon as the solstice arrives and we turn that corner and we actually enter official winter, actually things start to go up because you start to look forward to spring. And I think we often think of spring starting towards the end of February and March time, when actually it's still officially winter. But there's a lot of good stuff happening in winter, and soon the bulbs will start to come out, the snowdrops will come out, some of the winter flowering trees will start to come out, and and life will just get a whole lot better.